The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet and buy BetterHelp. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Our listeners get 10% off your first month. So give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/FURLONG.
The most valuable commodity in racing is potential. That's why Kia Jabrakan splashed over 8 million guineas at the Tattersall sale today. But potential can come in many different forms. What if you could pick up an unraced son of Galileo, a cast-off from Coolmore and Ballydoyle, for 10,000 guineas, race him 5 times, winning twice, including in Group 2 company, and now be ranked by Jeff Banks Bet as an 8-to-1 shot to win one of the biggest Group 1s of the season, the QE2. The story is an extraordinary one, and it's all down to the terrific trainer, Dylan Cunha, who I'm delighted to say joins us on the Final Furlong podcast today. Dylan, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be here.
The story of how you acquired Prague is almost as interesting as your own story. So you were a Group 1 winning trainer in your native South Africa. You achieved that at the age of 28. It makes sense that you would then relocate to the United Kingdom and become a Group winning trainer here. But that's not the full story. In between, you have a highly successful career for over a decade as a commercial pilot. Please fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I like to keep myself challenged. Look, I think it's just about your attitude. I think if you are able to train to the highest level anywhere in the world, at the time you have to be the best in that race at the time, even if it's Kazakhstan or South Africa, wherever you may be. So I achieved the highest level then. Went into flying, achieved the highest level you could get in flying, and then COVID came and sorted that out. So I came back to England and started training, and it looks like we're on the way to the highest level again, which is good because that is what I try and do in everything I do. Try and do my best. So yeah, it's exciting, and we're almost there. We've done the Group 2, so the Group 1 to come. But look, if it doesn't happen next week, I'm sure it will happen in the future. But we're excited to be having a crack anyway.
Every young racing fan at some point has dreamt of being a racehorse trainer, no matter how impossible that dream could be. And most young men at some point have fantasized about the idea of being a pilot. I would imagine that the skill set required to be a pilot is focus, incredible drive, physical fitness, mental fitness, determination. All of those things are requirements to be a racehorse trainer as well. I assume those skill sets can transfer over quite well. But how do you manage to achieve both of those things? Like, you rise to the top in Africa, you then turn your hand to being a pilot. Why did you decide to go into aviation?
Being a young man, well, I think young man, I'm a guy who likes his toys. I like airplanes, I like cars. So while I was training, I was always flying airplanes, but just just for fun, really. And a lot of my friends were having a lot more fun than me. I was already stressed at 28 training racehorses. So yeah, I went into flying full time, had a great time. The difference between the two is not much. You have to work hard in both. You have to be extremely disciplined in both, and you have to be focused, hardworking, and you have to want it. I would say flying taught me a lot of discipline, where training racehorses taught me a lot of resilience. And look, it's just all come together, and you grow up as a man and you get tougher and stronger and more disciplined and more resilient. And I think I'm at the perfect age now to be as good a trainer as I can be.
My understanding of South African racing would be primarily driven by, and the knowledge would really come from, Mike de Kock and the success that he had in Nad El Sheba and then Meydan. I know that South African racing has gone through a lot of turmoil. There was restrictions placed on it for quite a while, and it looked as though at one point it was going to really take over. There was success in North America, success in Europe. Was that one of the reasons why you decided to step away from it, that it was getting quite difficult there?
Well, when I stepped away, I was only 28. I'd won a Group 1 and yet still wasn't getting much support. So some of the bigger owners sort of dominated the game at the stage where they've now gone out and the game's coming back to what it used to be. So I just took a step back. I'm glad I did. I was swimming upstream, and yeah, I took a break at the right time. Had a great career as an airline pilot. Did ultra marathon running as probably to keep me mentally sane after giving up training and starting flying. So I had a great 12 years away from the horses. I kept in racing. I kept a share in a horse every year. So I did keep my eye on the ball, so to speak. But it was good for me, and yeah, I don't have any regrets.
Why did you choose Britain when you decided to get back into training?
Well, look, South Africa as a country is struggling. I mean, the racing's fantastic. Mark de Kock, as you said, was a pioneer. He had some good horses. He actually won the Joel Stakes twice, which we won last week. He was brilliant in Dubai, as everyone knows. As you say, South African horses have done well. Hawaii, Bold Tropic, Wolf Power back in the day in America. Horse Chestnuts. They've done well in England, Dubai. They've done well in Australia. And the racing's really competitive and strong there, but the country as a whole is struggling. So I thought England was a better move for me. I had the opportunity of coming here pre-Brexit. And so when COVID came and took the airline out, it was the right time to move. And I'm glad I did it. I think it's been the right decision. I think it was always a dream to live in England. I had a good time here when I worked here. I never thought I would train here. But it was always a little bit of a, how would you say, a background dream to train here. And yeah, now I'm living that dream, which is great.
I saw you on Look on Sunday a few months back. Alex Steedman was presenting. One of the things I really liked about it was how open and honest you were. It could have been very, very easy for you to say, oh yeah, Alex, everything's going great. We're on the gravy train. It's all fantastic. Winners left, right and centre. Owners beating down the door. But no, you were very honest about the fact that this is something you and your father have built together. You started out with your own horses, really trying to get people to come in and support you. And most of the owners that you were getting initially were syndicate based, but that despite the fact you were having success on the track, the phone still wasn't ringing. I really admired that openness and honesty. I'm hoping things have very much picked up. Was it difficult in the early stages?
Oh, strange. This is going to sound completely crazy. Strangely enough, I've got less horses now than I had this time last year. We've had a really good season. I think we're on 27 winners. It's quite a few more than quite a few bigger yards than us. We've won the Brocklesby, we won the Joel Stakes, yet I think we're getting smaller. We're down to about 30 horses. We're struggling to get support, struggling to sell horses, struggling to find the owners to buy horses. We have a small support base. A lot of them have been with us from the beginning, but they can only do as much as they can do. It's strange, the better year we've had, the smaller we've got. It's quite worrying at the moment for me because the sport's just not coming. Like I say, we've done everything we can. I think we've overachieved with the horses we've got. I mean, we're talking about between £1,000 and £10,000 horses we train, mostly. But yeah, hopefully next weekend puts us into another level. It would be good. I'm not quite sure what you have to do in England to break through, but I'm finding it really tough at the moment. Yeah,
I think a lot of people are. And that's a common theme that I'm getting from a lot of trainers that I've been interviewing. I haven't interviewed Sir Michael Stout, and he's an absolute legend, and he's achieved more than most people ever will in their entire lives. But he's had 26 winners this season. I think you've had 27?
27, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He would have a significantly bigger string than you, and that's the second season in a row where it hasn't really gone to plan for him. I'm going to steal a question from my friend Ross Millar, which I think is a brilliant question, and he's a great pundit for Racing TV. Do you feel valued by British racing?
I would say in some ways I do, in some ways I don't. I would say it's really hard to break into the top niche of owners to get your real support to be competitive. I would say from the normal race go, and the press have been really good to me. I get lots of positive, good coverage. So from that side, I do feel valued, and I have a lot of smaller owners and medium-sized owners who they can't afford more, but they really support me with what they do. So I do feel valued there. I think it's a bit of a mix. Look, it's tough. It's tough for everyone, like you say. It would just be nicer, I think, if they spread horses more around. To see the Dewhurst with only 3 trainers being represented, I think is bad for the game in every way you look at it. It's not competitive. From a smaller owner, breeder, owner, punter kind of guy, they would go to the races, and on a race day like that, if 6 races are represented and 4 of the bigger trainers win 4 of the races at odds-on shots, how can a punter make money on the day? So it's not good for racing overall. I think it would be better if it was more widely spread. And yeah, I think we're proving ourselves, working our way there, but still the spread is still not really coming, it's very challenging. But look, we'll keep kicking and keep working hard, and hopefully we'll start getting noticed by bigger owners, and they'd have a bit more imagination and spread out the horses a bit more. I think it would be really more competitive, bigger fields, and racing be a lot more fun, put it that way.
The fun element is a big point to make. I think that people could look at Irish racing and say, well, the British champion jumps trainer is Willie Mullins. Champion flat trainer is going to be Aidan O'Brien. Therefore, Irish racing must be absolutely thriving. And it is if you're Aidan O'Brien, Willie Mullins, Gordon Elliott, Henry de Bromhead, Gavin Cromwell, maybe Emmet Mullins, Joseph O'Brien, Donncha O'Brien. If you're outside of that, It's a tough life. The Coral Eclipse was a 4-runner race last year. The Jumpment International, a 4-runner race last year. Not good when you see the St. Ledger so literally represented as well.
And the Dewhurst is like that now, 3 different trainers. And look, Future Champions Day, not last year, the year before, I was there with Silver Sword, and there couldn't have been 150 people on track. It's just, that's what happens when it's boring to watch the same. I feel it with Prague. So Prague, there's been so much coverage and talk about them because I think it was such a relief to have something different. I think people loved it. That it was just something completely different. I just feel that the racing would be more competitive if they just made it a little bit more fair for everyone. I'm not saying restrict trainers, but bigger owners should maybe be a bit more adventurous and imaginative and spread the horses around, and it would make for much more competitive racing.
Yeah, that's a point I've heard Ed Chamberlain make a few times on the Sporting Life podcast when the lads are asking him, hey, how's the ITV coverage going? He's like, we're trying to push a narrative here about the sport. And if it's always Aidan O'Brien and Rafe Beckett, like that's great for them, but you need to have somebody else coming through to be able to cheer on as well. And that's how the jumps game was always about the small man being able to beat the bigger trainer. And then bizarrely that became the flat. This literally could be you now because you're obviously a major trainer in South Africa, but you're building up here. You made a point to Alex Steedman, which I thought was really interesting in that Racing TV interview, that a lot of the owners that you have are not people from racing backgrounds or didn't have horses before. You've brought people into racehorse ownership through syndicates, and then those people have decided, hey, I'm having success with this, I'd like to own a racehorse myself. So that's another reason why I'm asking you that Ross Millar question of do you feel valued by British racing? Because you're bringing customers into British racing.
Look, that's the truth of it, is 90%, maybe 95% of the owners we have been brought in completely by myself and the team who work with me, and none of them had an interest in a horse race or owning a racehorse before. And so we brought them in. A lot of them have bought again. So we have brought them in. It's hard for British racing to do much more except the prize money. I was in France this weekend at the Arc, and I look at it, and the prize money is unbelievable. Not just on the Arc day, but the other days. And I think we're going to start losing a lot more horses there because they've got the model. It's there to be used, but we just can't copy it here, unfortunately. It would be so much easier, but I've been to a few trainers' meetings now, and it's always the same infighting arguments about the levy and all of that. I think, in my opinion, it's all just knocking on the wrong door. There's only one way to sort it out, and it's to have someone in control. Cape Town Racing's currently done this. A guy called Greg Bortz has taken it over, and he's completely turned things upside down and reformed racing and turned it around. And the smaller trainers get incentives for turning up. They get appearance money. I think you get appearance money from second to second last. And he's really turned things around for the small owner and the small trainer. And British racing is, my cat's coming in. British racing is desperate for that. But I don't think there's anyone who maybe has the stomach to take on all the different vested parties. There's just too many. I mean, when you get to those trainers' meetings and hear all the problems, you think this is a long way from coming right. Getting back to the point is to keep new people coming in and keep those people reinvesting. The prize money is the only way I think they can value us by doing that. And unfortunately, I can't really keep convincing people when I see what they get out of it compared to what they put in. The prize money is in a dire situation. But look, if you get a good horse, it's not bad, and the prestige is really good, and the race courses are really good, so there is an upside. There you can sell horses for good money here, which is good for the owner, but not always good for the trainer. So look, as much as there's a bit downside, there's an upside. So I try to focus on the upside. I'm aware of the downsides, but I try to convince people about the upsides and the positives. And there's a lot going for British racing. Just it would be nice if they sorted the prize money out.
The prize money is a major issue. There is a massive upside, though. I really like American racing. I watch a lot of it, and I've been watching a lot of FanDuel TV. Don't ask me how. But if you use NordVPN, one of our sponsors in America, then you already know how we're doing that. Their coverage is fantastic. The thing about the American racing is it's kind of bland. Like those tracks they're just oval tracks. It's like, yeah, I kind of know if you've got the lead in a dirt race, you're probably going to win. If you're well positioned on a turf race and you got a good draw, you're probably going to win. Things are a little bit different in British racing. There is the prestige of those tracks. There's so many varieties of racetracks as well. And will a horse really take to the undulations of Newmarket? Will a horse handle the cambers of Epsom? There's so many different facets to our racing that I think we should be excited about. The product is there to work. It just needs the support for you and your owners, and it will really take fire.
Yeah, I think, look, it's the greatest racing in the world. They still have the best thoroughbreds in the world, the best breeding. It's the best tracks, the most historic tracks, the best festivals. Everything's there. Everything's there for them to do the right thing and fix it. But I don't know if anyone really wants to fix it. That's the problem. And if they did, there would be no country in the world that would come close to it. Because, like you say, it's diverse, it's exciting. There's so many different tracks. There's something for everyone. I love training here. I love racing here. I love all the tracks. It's completely different. And I think if someone had the stomach to get it all together and everyone worked together instead of against each other, there would be nowhere in the world there isn't anywhere in the world that compare anyway, even with the bad prize money.
Yeah.
But it is hard to attract the owners like that anyway.
I think that's a point that Barry Hearn has made a few times as well. He wouldn't touch British racing despite revolutionising snooker and darts because it's a basket case. But we can live in hope. You mentioned your cat coming into the studio. This is going to sound like a bit of an odd thing to say, but I'm sure you mentioned to Alex Steedman, and he didn't pick up on it, that one of the horses you sold or one of the owners you got in was through some story with a cat. Did I mishear that?
Yeah, it's the same cat, Barney. Basically, I had 3 horses and no owners, and I had nothing really to post. I had nothing running. So I posted the odd things on this cat I rescued from... a lady had rescued it and basically gave it to me. And he had a skew leg, and someone saw it and came up to me at Lingfield and said, "Are you Barney's dad?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "I'd like my husband to buy you a horse." And now they have 6 horses with me. So it's the Sarker family, and they've got probably 5 or 6 with me now. We won the Brocklesby this year, so it's been a good story from the cat.
That is magic. So Barney is officially the assistant trainer then?
He is, and he's the boss. And since I've been in Phantom House, the main yard, there's a cat that's been there for years, Simba, and he's taken over the yard, and Barney's got the house. So in between my life, I'm between 2 cats. Yeah.
As somebody who has cats and loves them, I also love dogs, but cats are incredible. That's amazing, though, that not only do you have a great cat who's obviously protecting the place, he's brought in your first owners as well, and then you've given them great success. That is well done, Barney. It's not well done, Dylan. That's well done, Barney. Barney's clearly running the show there. I hope he got a nice bonus of treats there.
He does. He's spoiled, yeah.
Talk to me about Prague. Coolmore have got a big chance of winning the QE2 with the 2.1 million guineas purchase, Diego Velasquez. But even the best make mistakes, and somebody decided, this Prague, he can go for 10 grand. An unraced son of Galileo. You've raced him 5 times. He's won twice. He was very unlucky 2 starts back. I know it's easy to say, but I did say it on the podcast that he really should have beaten Holloway Boy that day. And then he proved it by winning very impressively the last day. Rishi Prasad straight away on Racing TV was saying, this fella should be going for the QE2. And he is. First of all, what was it about him at the sales that you really liked?
Well, he's a good... I mean, he's got a pedigree, first of all. And then, I mean, he's the most perfect-looking horse you'll ever see. He obviously had his veterinary issues, which put people off. We had it looked into, and there was nothing really to be worried about. And, yeah, the guys sat around quietly, waited for it, and I mean, it was maybe destiny, I don't know. He just slipped through the net. Look, getting back to the QE2 and Coolmore, I personally don't feel they mind this. I think they get quite a thrill out of this because they're going to be selling quite a few horses at the end of the month, and I think this is going to make everyone look at every single horse I think they own the mare still, so this is putting value to their mare. And like I say, it's going to make people come back and buy from them. I think they're getting a thrill out of it. I think they're getting as much joy out of the story. I mean, one's always going to slip through the nets. It's going to happen to me at some stage. Hopefully not as good as Prague, but I think it's good for the game. It's good for the story, like I said. He's a magnificent looking horse. He's been Amadeo, my head lad who rides him every day, looks after him, owns half of him with his friend. Honestly it's good for everyone to know that we've got staff like that running our yard and staff like that looking after the horses, because it just shows what our yard's capable of. And he is just unbelievable. The time he spends with that horse and what that horse looks like, it's just a testament to the amount of work he puts into the horse. I always joke with him, like, this week he's going to sleep outside the box, literally, because that's what he's like. I mean, you can go past there at 7 p.m. at night and he's still brushing the horse. After everyone leaves, he spends another 2 hours there, just literally sitting there in the box with the horse. He's a credit to the horse. Never mind, he's basically vital to the horse. I think he's done a fantastic job, and he runs my yard. I think he's vital to the success I have here as well. He runs a really good yard. I have another good head girl called Becky. She's very good with the staff, and Amadeus is brilliant with the actual horses. And I think we've got a great team that makes it all work. And yeah, more credit goes to them.
Yeah, and Rishi and Martin were making the point that he was adamant that he was leading the horse up. As the owner, it would have been very, very easy for him to just go, no, I'm taking it easy today. But no, he wanted to be part of every single second of it. And it's pretty rare that a head lad is a co-owner of a racehorse who's going to be on the brink of winning a Group 1. I'm not sure if I ever remember a story like that happening in British racing.
No, I'm not sure. I don't think so. And not only that, he wouldn't let anyone lead it up. He won't let anyone ride this horse. He won't let anyone lead the horse up. He won't let anyone brush the horse. No one's allowed in that horse's stable. He doesn't like you touching the horse. It's quite an intense story. His mother had a stroke 2 weeks before the Joel Stakes, and she's living in Italy, and he really needed to get back, and he's like, he would not leave till the Joel Stakes. And I think on the Joel Stakes was on the Friday. On the Sunday, he finally went and saw her for 3 days. Gave the horse 3 days on the walker, but that's how no one's allowed near the horse. So it's a brilliant story. He'll lead it up at Ascot again, and he'll make sure the horses everyone drinks champagne and has fun, and not him who sees you that night. His wife comes and has a bit of fun, but he's with the horse. He doesn't care about anything else. So it's unreal, and it's really good for the whole world to see the kind of staff we have working for us, because I think that's a massive selling point for us too. We have a really good team at home.
Oh, very much so. How's Armando's mother doing now?
She's fine. He went and saw her and he said she's fine, and he sorted out a few things that he needed to sort out. And I would like to, I think I saw on the leave, he's booked a bit of leave in November, so I would think after the QE2, Prague goes for a winter rest, he'll take a bit of leave, because he hasn't left this year because of him. Yeah.
Okay, well, you only get one, and my own has got very frail, I'm afraid. So I hope.
I said to him this afternoon, don't forget, it's a stressful 10 days, but you're living the dream. Enjoy the dream.
Well said. Very well said. Yeah. On his debut, he was sent off a 40-1 shot. Was that a surprise to you? He was such a big price. Was it a surprise that he put up the performance he did that day?
Look, he was 80-1 in the morning. Everyone had a bet on him that I know. He was 40-1 purely because of the field he was in. I think it was the likes of Gosden, Varian, Beckett, Haggis. All the real big trainers had good-looking horses in there. We knew he was good, but we also didn't know. We also gave him a stone, because I think we carried 10 stone 2 and the rest of the field carried 9 stone 3 or something like that. So it was a big ask being a 4-year-old, giving everyone weight for first time out. He was rightly 40-1. I mean, even though we knew he was good, and we did tell Racing TV and at the races in our spring, he was the horse to follow, and probably our best horse for the year. So he was well publicised and well fancied, but due to the competition and the weight, he had to be as good as he is to win like that.
Well, it's an open miling division. There's no real standout. Sharon has been very, very good, but he's been beaten a couple of times as well. Probably unlucky in the Lockinge, to be fair. But last time out, it's not like the form of Tribalist has been boosted, for example. So it's an open renewal. If we just use time form, Diego Velasquez is 121, 128 adjusted. You're rated 121, and you're still unexposed. You've only had 5 starts. Who knows how much more improvement there is to come. So how are you feeling about the big race on Saturday week?
Yeah, so look, we obviously an improving horse in the race. We have lots of respect for the opposition. It's going to be tough to take them on. We, under no illusions, we didn't beat the standard of field we're going to come across last time, that we're coming across next week. However, we did beat some solid horses there. We felt we were unlucky at Haydock the time before. We feel we're still improving. The only stress we have is, will he settle early? Because he is a big, strong horse and he's still learning to race. The only times he's been beaten is by him not settling. But Danny Tudder, who rides him, he's sort of got a good relationship with him now. He saw he was pulling too hard last time and he went around him. But instead of going around him and just going flat out, he got him to settle in front. And he feels he'll settle if he's in front anyway. And if he does, it will take a really good horse to get past him. So if they go quick, it'll suit us. If they go slow, we'll just end up leading. And then it'll take a really good one to beat us if we get him to settle.
I did want to ask you about that, those race tactics, because he wasn't settling. And normally when you make a move like that mid-race, forget about it. You're not going to see out the trip. You've expended too much energy to be able to go and win. It was no problem to him. He ended up winning very, very easily. So is the plan going to be in the QE2 go forward?
Well, no, the plan will still be to settle him if he can, and if they go quick enough. If they don't, we'll happily go forward, because he does settle once he's in front. Danny knows him well now. He's had 2 good goes on him. He loves him, and I think he said he's happy to ride him anyway. So we'll leave it to him. Look, it's going to be a tough race for him. First 3 will be massive for us. It'll be unbelievable to win it. But we on the way there with the horse on the rise, so he's going to like the ground. We're still very fresh. It's only our 6th run of the year and the last run for the year. So we're excited. Yeah.
So I remember a South African trainer called Mike de Kock getting hold of Archie Penko and turning him into a Group 1 winner after that horse ran for Aidan O'Brien. Is another South African trainer going to get an ex-Aidan O'Brien horse and turn him into a Group 1 winner?
I hope so. It'll be good. Look, I mean, it's it's lovely to have your name mentioned among Aidan O'Brien, just to start with, being a South African. But yeah, look, I hope so. I hope so for the horse and Amadeo. Not really trying to get one up on anyone. The horse is lovely. He deserves it. I mean, he's a beautiful horse. And yeah, I really hope so, just for him.
It's an incredible story. Presumably, you'll be headed back to the Tattersall sales looking for the unraced Ballydoyle horses or the once raced Ballydoyle horses that are being offered off.
Yeah, we will. Look, we always at the sales, and we're there today at Book 1. We do all the sales. We look at all the horses on our list on pedigree to start with. And then we try and buy them if we can. We don't have a budget, like I say. A lot of the horses we buy on spec and then resell. So it's... But yeah, we'll be there. We will be trying to look. We're always trying to find a good horse. I don't think a lot of people realize we bought last year. We ended up Silver Sword example. He won 100 grand Heritage Handicap for us. He was 11 grand. Prague was 10 grand. He's won a Group 2. Horses like Mart were 11 grand. He's won 6 this year. Gogo Yabari was 5 grand. She's won 5 this year. Ascot's captain was, I think, 18 grand. He's won 4 this year. So we've done really well with those kind of horses. So look, hopefully we get a bit more money behind us and we can buy what we really want to buy. That'll be exciting. Very exciting.
If you can do this with those horses, imagine what you could do with, I don't know, maybe Kia Jabrakan was to come to you and hand you one of those horses he bought today. Come on, Kia, you know it makes sense. Best of luck with Prague. I really hope he does it. It'd be fantastic if he does. Havana White by Havana Gray. What can you tell me about that?
She's in America. She was owned by the Americans, Rancho Temescal, and she had that run in the at Beverley, and Hillary Needler. She ran a cracking debut, and then she went straight over to America because they get a bonus if she wins there as a maiden, having run here. So she went over there, and she hasn't run yet, but they tell me they're happy with her. Yeah.
Will she come back?
No,
Ugh.
but they will rebuy another one. They're actually going to buy it in October horses and training sales.
Oh, great. Okay.
And then they'll keep that for a month or two, and then take it over there. And then, but they will buy it, the Craven Breeze up again, and then keep that for a month or two, and then it goes again. So they're great people to have. The horse is always going to leave, but you've got them for 1 or 2 months, and we work together as a team. William Jarvis actually manages the whole thing, so it's actually a lot of fun. William's a great landlord, and him managing it with me and Joe Miller, who's the Tattersalls USA rep, and he runs it for Orancha, and it's exciting to have them on board, but we just don't get to keep the horses for too long.
So there is an initiative in America that if you buy a horse in the UK, race it once, and then send that horse to America, there's a bonus scheme. Yeah.
So basically, I think if it comes there as a maiden and it wins, they get another 50 grand for the first 4 wins or something like that. So it's to bring horses into America. Really good. So it makes complete sense to not win it here for 3 grand. That's why she ran in a race. She was really good, I thought, and that's why she ran in the Hillary Needler first time out instead of a maiden, because I don't think she would have been able to not win in the maiden. So she won. She was 5th in the Hillary Needler against as good horses as you get with sent her to America as a maiden. So job done.
Yeah, we covered that race live on TalkSport too. It was a good race, and she did run a cracker. But that's a very clever thing for the Americans to do. It's a very, very clever thing. It's not so great for us, though. Cartwheel, daughter of Lightning Spear.
Lovely filly. Got a lot of hope for her. She runs at Kempton on the 16th. I think there's a 30 grand maiden. If not, if that looks a bit warm, she'll run Brighton the next day. But this race, basically the 16th, 17th for her.
The way she shaped on debut looked like she'd be ready to win next time out.
Yeah, she should be. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, Cartwheel goes straight into the tracker. Just King of 45,000 guineas gelding.
He's a nice horse. He ran 4th first time out, and he probably runs. At Goodwood on Sunday. If not, there's not really much else for him until the 2nd of November. So at Southall. So look, he'll have a gallop on probably tomorrow or the next day. See how he goes. If he goes well enough, he'll run on Sunday. If not, he'll run on the 2nd of November, and then that'll be him for the year. So, nice horse. I like him. He's going to be a nice horse next year. He's still a big, fat baby, but he showed a lot. Yeah.
Your son of Kodiak, Sensorium, he wasn't beaten far by Seagulls 11, who's a proper group juvenile, and he ran an absolute blinder in the big sales race at York recently.
Yeah. I love this horse. I think he's going to be a group winner next year. I really like this horse. He shows so much at home. He's still a big baby. It gave me the real highs and lows of racing. Prague won the Group 2 on Friday, and on Saturday morning, Amadeo was working Sensorium, and he fractured his pastern. So he had to have 3 pins in the pastern straight away. Luckily, Amadeo was on him, and he felt it quickly and pulled him up quickly, and he wasn't too much damage. So, that was the highs and lows of racing. We were both buzzing when we got there in the morning, and both almost in tears by the end of the next morning. But he's a lovely horse. He's completely fine. The prognosis is good. It all went well. He's obviously going to rest now till he's going to have. He's not. If you could fracture any bone, that would be the best bone you can fracture.
Yeah.
If there is one, so it's not the end of the world. But he's out till next year, and I can't wait to have him back next year. I think it may be a blessing in disguise. He's going to be a nice horse next year.
And he'll have time. He'll have plenty of time to strengthen up from not only in the autumn but over the winter as well, and then hopefully next summer he can come back. Okay.
He'll have a month in the box and then a slow rehab and build up all the way back till the spring. Yeah.
It's probably worth pointing out that an injury like that in the past would have been curtains, but the advancements that have been made means that horses can now recover from those kind of injuries and still thrive.
Absolutely brilliant. Happened on the Elbe Hatchery within 10 minutes. He was in a horse ambulance on the way to Rossdale's vets, and this was about 7 a.m. By 10 a.m. I was getting pictures of the x-rays back with the pins in, and he was next Sunday morning he was back in the yard. That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Really good in this country are brilliant.
Dylan, a horse I haven't mentioned that I should have mentioned. Is there anything that's been catching pigeons on the gallops?
Not really. We're quite down in the numbers now, so not really. That's pretty much it. Yeah, there's always something that's hopefully going to come through in the winter. This time last year, I was worried about a long winter with not much, and then Mart, Ascot's captain, and Gogo Ibari came through. 116 races between them through the winter. So I'm hoping something like that happens again. But there's not. You pretty much hit the nail on the ones at the moment anyway.
Okay. Well, we can follow you on X, Dylan Cunha _UK. Presumably, there'll be more updates about your assistant trainer, the cat, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep him updated, yeah.
And if anybody is interested in starting a syndicate with you, getting a racehorse in training with you, do they contact Barry or do they come to you?
No, they come to me. I handle all the social media myself, and obviously I've got two good ladies in the office who handle the emails, but yeah, it's all handled by me, and yeah, good. Hopefully get some other bigger support for the future.
Oh, I hope so. You very much deserve it. I hope someone like Kia Jabrakan very seriously is looking at you and going, if this guy can do this with a £10,000 cast off and be on the brink of winning a Group 1, what could he do if I give him the raw materials of like a 4.5 million guineas purchase from Tattersalls?
Look, that's what you hope happens. People notice you get the chances. I wouldn't even mind the outcosts for the winter at the moment. Keep it up.
Aim high, shoot low, Dylan.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistic ambitions. The very best of luck to you in the QE2. I will be cheering on Diego Velasquez as well, by the way. cool, more fanboy over here than I am. And looking forward to talking to Aidan again on the show soon as well. But I think it's an incredible, I think your story is incredible. I think the story of Prague is remarkable, and very much cheering on Prague in the QE2. We're all going to be behind you.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Best of luck, Dylan. And thank you for watching and listening to this episode of the Final Furlong podcast. If you liked it, hit the like button on social media, on YouTube and elsewhere as well. It's much appreciated. And we are back with more great content, including a big weekend preview coming your way very, very soon. From me and Dylan, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you again very, very soon on the Final Furlong podcast. Look after yourself and each other. God bless. And I just wonder... The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet, where tradition meets cutting-edge technology, and with major flat racing festivals on the horizon and the new jump season about to kick off properly, it's time to leave behind the corporate bookmakers who don't value your loyalty. At this point, you've got to be fed up of their restrictions, endless affordability checks, and losing out on incentives just because you dare to win a bet. Jeff is the bookmaker fighting for your right to bet, giving you the freedom to enjoy British and Irish racing the way it should be, and you can watch all that racing on the Jeff Banks Bet app. So say goodbye to bookies who want you to lose your hard-earned money on their online casinos, and say yes to unbeatable odds and a bookmaker that truly values your custom, Jeff Banks Bet. Final Furlong podcast listeners who sign up to Jeff Banks Online using the promo code FFP500 can get 10% of any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting up to £500. It's an offer you won't see anywhere else. Visit jeffbanks.bet today and enter promo code FFP500 and join the excitement. That's jeffbanks.bet using promo code FFP500, because your betting experience deserves more. This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp Therapy Online. What are your self-care non-negotiables? Maybe you never skip leg day or therapy day. When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you've no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. If you've ever been in therapy, then like me, you know how beneficial it can be. But it's not just for those who've experienced major trauma. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and setting boundaries. Therapy empowers you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a registered therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. With almost 5,000 therapists in the UK already, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise. Visit betterhelp.com/furlong today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/furlong. This is a paid advertisement by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/furlong to get 10% off your first month and get on your way to being your best self.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet and buy BetterHelp. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Our listeners get 10% off your first month. So give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/FURLONG.